Hey guys, it's Phoebe and welcome to my channel. I'm actually in my YouTube room right now, which is so good to be back. This is my second time filming this video, so if I seem less than optimistic, can't speak, to film this video, I'm sorry. I filmed this video a couple of weeks ago, went to edit it yesterday to upload for today, and the whole file corrupted. Not the whole file, like half of it. There was just like at the 15-minute mark, it's like half an hour video. At the 15-minute mark, there was just no sound and no picture. It was just a blank screen, no sound. And I was just like, I can't. And it was like mid-sentence that had cut me off. And I was just like, I can't upload this. So I'm having to refilm. I'm sorry. So let's get into this. So I got a couple of questions. I got one, two, I got asked 4 questions by 2 different people. So I then went online and found 20 random questions to answer. So I'll answer your guys' questions first, and then I'll do the random questions, so that if you've got your answer and then you don't want to watch the rest of the video, you can just skip if you want. I prefer if you don't, but if you don't want to listen to me babble, that is fine. So David's Book Reviews asks, what book did you have more fun writing? I don't even remember my answers last time, so it's going to be a completely different video, but I feel like each book was fun in its own way, but the book that I think I had the most fun writing was the Hybrid trilogy, so all 4 books, because each book was a different person's story, it had their own life, it was their own books, but they all connect because it's the same characters, they all make appearances in each book, and I just found that such a cool way to do it. And it was my first time, I guess my first book series that is out published. I did have a book series on Wattpad, and that was just not it, but I had really fun, like, writing that series. Would you do a bookshelf tour? Yes, there is one coming this month. I'm not going to tell you when. I've already filmed it. I filmed it today, as long as the file didn't corrupt on my camera. But I'm on my phone right now because I do not trust my camera. But yeah, it is coming. Stay tuned. Although my books, I've just gotten rid of a bunch of books, so it's not the best bookshelf tour. What romance books would you recommend to a non-romance reader? There's actually one I'm getting rid of, and I don't know if I can see it. Is that it? They're right behind me. Nope, that is horror. Oh, okay. It's actually a vampire romance book. I've completely spaced. It's on my phone. I will put it first thing in the description. I'll actually just put a reminder here for myself to do that. First romance. That's not a romance. Romance. Description. Okay, I'm writing on my iPad. Right, so that'll be there. I can't think of the name, but just scroll down and you'll see it first line. Okay, then John asks, what's the best video you ever made? So it's not on this channel. It would be on my main channel. I was going to say first channel, but that was not my first channel. I've had a lot of channels, guys. This is my 4th channel, but only 2 of them are still alive. So my main channel, Beauty Queen, I did a Temu try-on haul. I had so much fun filming that. I would have to say it was probably the best video. There might be others, but I feel like that was my favorite one to do, and I personally think it's my best. Now into the random questions. Okay, number 1, as a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? I always knew I wanted to write. I didn't think I would be a YouTuber, podcaster, author, stay-at-home mum. That was not really in the picture. Originally, I wanted to be a primary school teacher and just write books at night. And then because of my own health issues. I was like, no, that's not happening. So then I thought a lawyer. Don't know why. That's more work than a teacher. And with writing at night. And I was just like, no, that's still not going to work. And then I created my first YouTube channel. And I fell in love with YouTube, even though I didn't have my face on camera at all. And it did not do very well channel. And then I started Beauty Queen. And I just fell in love with doing YouTube all over again. And I was just like, no, I'm going to do that, YouTube. Even though I'm not monetizing any of my channels. I was for a while, and then they brought in new requirements, and then I didn't qualify. And I'm still working towards monetization on my channels. But then I was like, I'm also going to write. So I started practicing writing. I started a business, which, I mean, now it's just a Redbubble store. I've put the rest on hold for now. But that's still fun. It's like my photography and stuff. There's some designs, but mostly it's my photography now. And then I started my podcasts, and I've just tried to make something for myself online. Because it's easier with having my daughter and also with my health stuff. Number 2, what is your favourite part of being a writer? My favourite part of being a writer is the same thing that's my favourite reason to be a reader. I've gone through a lot of stuff throughout my life, and reading for the longest time was a way for me to escape reality and just not worry about life. Like, I just could be part of the story. And so when I write a book, I try and do that for my readers. It probably doesn't work, but I try. And that's my favorite part, is being able to hopefully one day help people in the same way that other writers help me. Number 3, do you hear from readers much? Not much. There's been a couple of comments that people have made, like, they've found me and they've messaged me on, like, social media, but I don't really hear from my readers much. But I am a small indie author, you know, not many sales under my belt, like, I don't mind. Number 4, what does your family think of writing? They're really supportive. My family basically just consists of my mum, grandma, and granddad. My mum wrote books and is trying to write books again. So she was really supportive. My grandma was supportive. My granddad was supportive. So my family's been really supportive. My mum likes to read my books. She likes to hear about them. I don't really talk to them about with my grandparents. My granddad reads completely different genre. Doesn't really. He's a Game of Thrones sort of man. That's not what I write. And my grandma's very university educated, and so she's very much, I want to edit your books, which is fine, except for the fact that every time she tries to edit, like, even my mum's books or my books, it's very much been more read like a thesis than a novel. So I don't really like her editing my books. I mean, it's a free editor, don't get me wrong, but just not it. Okay, number 5. What do you like to do when you're not writing? I like to game, read, be a parent. Cleaning, an everyday thing. Yeah. Get into nature. Okay, number 6. Can you describe your writing space? My writing space is wherever I am. I'm in bed, I'm going to write in bed. From my lounge room, I'm going to write in my lounge room. I don't really have a dedicated writing space yet. I want to have one though. I mean, technically I could, like, once I've sold some stuff and got rid of some stuff, put a desk behind here and have like a little writing space, but I don't know. Okay, what is your favourite book and why? My favourite book. Oh, that's a hard one, because it changes so often. I'm gonna say Pet Sematary by Stephen King. It's a very sad book, and I have not read it since being a parent because I'm too scared. But because I feel like it's gonna hit home way more. But like, I love The Shining. I have a Shining tattoo. But I have to say that book's number 2 for me at the moment. Pet Sematary was the first Stephen King book that I really fell in love with. And so I feel like I have to say this number 1 because it got me into my favourite author. And why? I don't know. Oh, I can't answer it anyway. So, number 8, what books are you currently reading at present? I'm currently reading Fairy Tale by Stephen King in an actual book format. And then I'm listening to an audiobook. This is the first time I've listened to an audiobook. I'm really struggling. But I haven't been able to find a copy, and I'm a very slow reader now that I'm a mum, so the audiobook was just the easiest thing, and I'm slowly working my way through it over audiobook, and it's just taking me a lot longer than I thought it would. Number 9, what might your next book be about? So I'm actually got it in the planning stages. I had a dream, and it felt like I was watching a movie in my dream, and it was really interesting. It's like a 3 book series. And so I feel like that'll be the next book I write, but it's kind of hard to explain. There's like a creature that's harassing this town, and there's a bunch of kids who are trying to save it. Sounds like a lot of books and movies, to be honest, but it's really unique. Like, me and my mum went scrounging for something like it, and we could not find anything. But the next book I published, I was hoping to get it out for June, like June, July, for my birthday. It ain't happening. I'm gonna say it right now. I was hoping to publish 2 books this year, and that's just not gonna happen. If this book comes out this year, it'll be towards the end of the year. But it's about a woman. She's kidnapped by her werewolf mate, escapes, goes back to him, and it's kind of her journey of learning to accept him, and then lots of magical battles, and her, I can't say the plot twist, but yeah, it's a really good book. But the editing is just not going to be done on time. It's not going to happen. Number 10, do you ever get inspiration from dreams? Yes, we just went over that. Number 11, what is your favourite genre to write and why? My favourite genre to write is paranormal romance. So, werewolves, vampires, witches, banshees, just supernatural creatures with a touch of romance, following like there's got to be romance. I find supernaturals, they deserve love too. So like romance, like they've got to find their partner, or they have a partner or whatever. But it's really more like a self-discovery, overcoming issues sort of genre book thing. Who is your favourite author, and what is it that really strikes you about their work? So Stephen King, what really strikes me about Stephen King is, I think it's, obviously, when I started writing, I wanted to become a female version of him, sort of. Not the same genre or anything, but like the sort of success he has. That's not going to happen. Like, that was unrealistic. But it really did motivate me for a very long time to finish a book and kind of stick to it, which I think was really helpful. But I think what really strikes me about his work is just how amazing they are. Like, he knows how to make you feel for the characters in different ways, even if it's a negative way. Like, you really see that sort of thing. But from a writing aspect, you know, like, he has become one of the most famous horror authors I can think of, and you know, it didn't come easy. If you've ever done research into Carrie and how he got to publish that book and what his life was like while he was writing, like, he's overcome a lot himself. He had a very hard start to doing that. And so I think that really strikes me because it means, yeah, it's just, I don't want to get emotional. Number 13, how do you get inspired to write? I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like I want to write. Other times I have an idea. And it was just kind of like, something I felt Like, if I feel like I have something to say or write, I will write. If not, then I don't. Can you share an instance where real life events inspired your writing? My second book published. So, before I published my first book under my author name, I did write another book. It was originally a Wattpad book that I then rewrote and self-published and all shit. I know my work is shit, okay? Don't get me wrong, there's mistakes. I can get better. But I have found that, like, each book I've been getting better at writing and doing the editing and all that kind of stuff because it's a learning thing. And I had a lot of experience on Wattpad, but writing for Wattpad and then writing for publication is so different. And I did do a lot of practice between when my first book came out and I took it down to my second book coming out, which was the first for this author name, pen name. But I felt at the time when I wrote that book, it was time for me to publish, and that I could write for as much as I want. Like, I could practice as much as I want, but I'm still going to look back in the future and think that was shit. You know, people could still say that shit no matter how much I practiced. And you're never going to be 100% perfect. Even Stephen King, I'm going back to Stephen King. Even Stephen King, like, you read his book, there's mistakes. And he's from a proper publishing firm. You know, like, he's got proper publishing agencies, an agent, publishing company, everything behind him with teams of editors, everything like that. And there's still mistakes in his books, okay? No book is going to be 100% perfect. And I kind of thought about that and was like, right, I'm just going to publish. And I know I'm going to get better. But then people can come back and look at my first book and then look at my latest book in like 30 years and be like, wow, she came so far, you know? So I just, yeah. But that book, I was actually in a long distance relationship. He was only a year older than me. Don't get me wrong. Not such a big age gap. I'm talking about wrongful love here. There was not this massive age gap between us. I had been in a massive age gap relationship before. It was bad. He was a predator. But I kind of wanted to show, like, I was dating this guy in South Africa. I was in New Zealand. That's quite far. But he really helped me with my mental health and my own stuff. And so I wanted to write a book about that. And so I did. And then I had the idea to make Marcus so much older than her, because it also shows that while, yes, a lot of people who are older than their partner by that much of a difference, because she was a teenager, he's in his 30s, okay? Big difference of age. A lot of them are predators. Do not get me wrong, I acknowledge that. I know that there is grooming, there is sex trafficking, there is so much horrible stuff in this world. But this book is also fiction, you know? It's not real life. It's not based on a real life story. Yes, it has influence of my long distance relationship, helping me mentally and through a lot of stuff and get me the courage to get help. But I wanted to also show that even there are some age gap relationships, not all, but there are some where the older person waits and they help them, and then when they are of legal age, although technically she was of legal age for having sexual intercourse, and she does have sexual intercourse with him once before they know each other's ages, they wait after that to do that again until she is legally an adult. And I wanted to show that because it does happen. My mum and dad had an age gap. She was a teen, he was an adult. My grandparents are many years apart and they've been married for a very long time. So there is personal people in my life with big age gaps. My dad's situation is different, but my stepdad was a better situation. Don't get me wrong. But there was also a big age gap there. So there are instances where an age gap is okay. Maybe not okay, like socially acceptable, but I feel like if parties are happy, healthy, respecting each other, not toxic or anything like that, it's fine. The book's controversial. That what I just said is controversial. I do understand there is a lot of grooming and issues, and it really just is not. Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Number 15. How do you handle criticism? If the criticism is about something I could do better, like, for example, I misspelled a word without meaning to, I accept that. Or even like maybe something didn't make a lot of sense, and then I reread and I go, oh yeah, I see what I did there and what they mean. You know, I accept that criticism. I try and use it to better myself in my writing. However, if criticism is just hate, like I had a review on one of my books that was not a verified purchase, and I read the review, and it didn't really make sense for my book because I knew that wasn't really happening because I'd had so many good reviews, not on the book, but like from people messaging me about that book, saying that they enjoyed that sort of stuff that I had done there. So, like, I knew that was just that one person. And there are people who are going to criticize your book and leave a bad review because they don't like a certain scene or they don't like that book. And that is fine, but I ignore that sort of criticism. If it can make me better writing, I'll totally take it in and see what I can do better. But if it's just hate, I ignore it. Number 16. How much research do you do for books? It depends. It depends. It depends on the book. Sometimes I do a lot of research. Sometimes there's no research. It just depends. Number 17. How do you deal with the pressure of meeting deadlines? I don't do well. I have ADHD. I'm very much a procrastinator. If I have a deadline, I'm going to put it off until close to the deadline, and then I'm going to be stressed and I'm not going to meet the deadline. So I try not to have deadlines for that reason. Number 18. How do you choose the names for your characters? Sometimes the book character's name comes to me in the planning process. I'm very much a pantser, but I do like to have like a character profile set out so that I at least know my characters and can have proper consistency. But if I can't come up with a name, like it's just not coming to me, I have a baby name app on my phone, which I had way before I even had my daughter, just for characters and finding character names. Number 19. Do you aim for a certain amount of words, pages per day? No, I don't write every day. Being a mum with 2 YouTube channels, 2 podcasts, at one stage 3 blogs, but now I only have 2 blogs. Writing, raising a child, cleaning, everything in my life, I don't have the time to write every day. I do try and aim for 2-3 times a week writing. More, better, but I'm not going to hold myself to it. If I just can't do it, I can't do it. And sometimes I will go, right, I'm going to write tonight. I'll write 5 words, and then I give up. I'm like, no, I can't do it. In other words, another night, I can write for hours. And just the words flow. So it really depends. I don't really try and push myself. If it happens, it happens. And number 20, how do you hope your work will impact your readers? I hope my work will show that not everyone's perfect. I hope that it will help people get out of reality if they're struggling and want to go into a new reality. And I hope that my readers just have fun reading my books. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys in a couple of, whatever it is, 15 days? 14 days? On the 15th. I'll see you on the 15th for the next video, which is super exciting. You're gonna love it. Hopefully. Bye, guys.